Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The biggest week of the college football season is upon us. October 12th. This week we have Red River, Ohio State, Oregon. Obviously, Ole Miss, LSU, Penn State, USC, Miami, and Louisville, I believe, as well. And, of course, to top it all off on Saturday night is Colorado at Kansas State. However, we've predicted most of those already, except for the SEC and the Big Ten. So what we're doing in today's video is predicting the Big Ten ones that we have not talked about yet. We're going to talk Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, USC. We'll also go ahead and talk about Minnesota, UCLA, because that could be a fun one as well. However, with that said, you already know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe, turn that bell on, as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. With that being said, you already know what to do. Once again, leave a like, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. We got to hop into these Big Ten slate of games. We're going to save Ohio State, Oregon for last, but there's a lot that we got to talk about. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright, starting us off on Friday, of course, October 11th, a little bit of a teaser for what's coming in Saturday's college football slate of games. Northwestern going into Maryland. Honestly, this game could be very fun. Excuse me, there you guys heard a ding. That is what it is. But this game could be very fun. Honestly, both teams are looking for their first conference win. This game's going to be a very offensive game, if you're asking me. I think whichever team has the better offense is going to come out on top. That's just me personally. I think who has the better defense and who's going to be able to get a stop is what's going to be able to keep the other team in this game. With that said, tickets as low as $2. That's pretty crazy on that one. I'm going to go with Maryland here. The Maryland Terrapins are going to get the job done at home against Northwestern in that matchup. Now, moving on is a very, very important matchup. That is Washington going into Iowa. This is important for a couple of reasons. Number one, both of these teams are 2-1, have one loss in Big Ten conference play. This second loss is going to be huge because basically it is going to put both of them out, out of the college football playoff. And that's reason number one. Number two for these two teams are probably going to take a big jump if they win this game because they will have one loss in the conference as well. So with that said, and there will be a couple of teams that have dropped as well. So they'll be back in contention for Big Ten, the title and stuff like that. So with that said, when I look at this game, I'm going to look at this game as an offensive game for me. I know Iowa is known for their defense. Their defense has not shown a lot this year. With that said, or not shown up a lot this year, With that said, I'm going to be going with Washington here on the road. I like Will Rogers. I like Johnson for Iowa. I like the running back as well. I also like Botson, the wide receiver for Washington. Very underrated wide receiver, if you are asking me. I think Will Rogers, gets the ball to his playmakers, and Washington wins this game on the road at Iowa, and will still come out of this weekend with one loss in the Big Ten as well. Moving on is Wisconsin going into Rutgers. Got to go with Rutgers here. They are 4-1 right now. They're firing on all cylinders. They are cooking. Their offense looks really good. I'm expecting that train to continue. I know last week they only put up 14 points, but I think they'll have a bounce-back week against Wisconsin, whose defense relatively has struggled a lot this year. We saw it in the Alabama game. We saw it in the week before. And, again, Rutgers is going to get the job done at home against Wisconsin as they will go on to 5-1, 2-1 in Big Ten Conference play. Now, we're going to save this next one for the second to last one, Penn State, USC. However, we will talk Purdue, Illinois. When I look at this matchup for Purdue, Purdue's not winning this game, guys. There's no way that they win this game. They could. However, I do not see that happening. I see Illinois getting the job done at home, moving to 5-1 on the year, which is absolutely crazy if you're the Illinois Fighting Illini, because you could be in contention for the Big Ten title going into week 7, as well. Not sure if they're on a bye week next week. However, with that said, I've got to go with Purdue, or I've got to go with Illinois here. They're the better team by far. Purdue, on the other hand, they have been struggling. 1-4 through their last 5 games. 0-2 in Big Ten Conference play. They couldn't beat whoever they played last year. I bet you it was somebody small. Can't know it off the top of my head for whatever reason, even though I just did a video about it. But they are 0-2 in Big Ten Conference play. So with that said, I got to go with the Fighting Illini here, as they will get the job done against Purdue at home in this matchup. Now, moving on is Minnesota going into UCLA. A very underrated matchup, if you're asking me. I think Minnesota wins this game outright. I really do. I know it's at home for UCLA. I know UCLA is 1-4, 0-3 in Big Ten Conference play. Minnesota's 3-3, 1-2 in Big Ten Conference play. When I'm looking at this matchup for Minnesota, I'm looking at the quarterback. How is Brahmer going to come in here and do what he does best against UCLA? That is what I'm looking at. It's an 8 o'clock start time, very late start time here on the East Coast. I've got to go with Minnesota here, as they will get the job done on the road in the Rose Bowl, I believe, as well. Now, the second game of the week in the Big Ten here, it is Penn State going into USC. I think if this game, was at home for Penn State, they would by far blow them out. But since it is at home for USC could potentially hang in there for Miller Moss. You got to get the ball to your playmakers like Marks, the running back. You got to get the ball to your wide receiver as well. Maybe even your tight end, utilize him blocking a little bit as well. However, I don't see USC winning this game. I think Drew Allard is really good. I like the wide receivers and running backs that they have for Penn State as well. The tight end for Penn State has been killing it all season long. Don't know his name off the top of my head, but he has looked really, really good in the highlights that I have seen for this Penn State team. They're 2-0 in Big Ten Conference play. This game is going to be a very pivotal game going into the back half of the season, as Penn State will, in fact, get the job done on the road in USA. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a nail-biter for Penn State fans, but they will get the job done there. All right, we have talked every single game in the Big Ten, except for the biggest one of the week, probably the biggest one of the year. Ohio State going into Oregon in a Big Ten Conference game. Yes, you heard that right. Ohio State is going to Oregon in a Big Ten Conference game, and as number 2 team versus number 3 team in the country faced off against this one. This is going to be a phenomenal game. This is going to be a movie. If you have tickets to this game, you are very, very lucky to have secured those tickets. I'm very jealous of you. Dillon Gabriel has looked lights out for Oregon so far, except in the first couple of games. It took them a little bit to get going. But after the first couple of weeks or so, Dillon Gabriel has been lighting it up. 11 touchdowns on the year, only 3 interceptions on the year. I know we're only in week 6, but again, that's pretty good. Now, if you are Ohio State, Will Howard, on the other hand, has also been playing lights out and has one of the nation's top receivers as a freshman receiving or catching balls from him on the football field in Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith is a top wide receiver in the college football. He is going to be a dog. He is going to be much needed in this game. Dillon Gabriel, if you're Oregon, you got to utilize the run game with not James Cook. That's who I was thinking of. But you got to utilize the run game if you are Oregon. You got to utilize the defense. You have to contain Jeremiah Smith. Remember, he's just a freshman, but the dude can ball. I don't see that happening. I'm going with Ohio State here on the road in this one, as they will upset Oregon and I guess not really an upset, but it's going to be a close game. And Ohio State will, in fact, get the job done on the road in in Eugene at Autzen Stadium in the game of the week. Anyway, of course, that is where I'm going to leave it for today's video. Once again, if you have not already, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn that bell on. We do our best to post on this channel every single day. With that said, I'm going to hop off, get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. Have a great rest of your day. If I don't see you in NFL predictions, enjoy some baseball tonight. Enjoy college football tonight as well before we hop into this Saturday's games. However, that is where I'm going to leave it, as I will see you in the next video. Peace.